Adjusting the colours in a photo is probably the next step in the process that most photographers would turn to after making initial adjustments of brightness and contrast in their images. An errant colour cast in your photo can result from a range of different circumstances. It can be an incorrect white balance setting on your camera. It can be that the colour of the light that you're using to illuminate the subject is a little strange and not picked up by the white balance system in your camera also. Whatever the circumstances are, Photoshop provides a range of features that can be used to make the colours in your image more neutral. So let's start off by looking at some of the auto options initially. Again, these are listed underneath the image adjustments menu. So one of the options we have is auto color. So if we click on auto color, watch what happens in the screen. So automatically Photoshop assesses the colors within the picture and tries to neutralize any errant casts in the picture using the auto color option. Now, as with all auto options, sometimes these provide unexpected results or results that don't suit the outcomes that we want. So keep in mind that to undo any things that you've applied, any steps or techniques that you've applied, you can always go to the Edit Undo feature. So if we select that, we'll go back to the one that we had before. So if the auto route or auto color route doesn't provide you with the results that you're looking for, there's another couple of options that we can look at as well. Image adjustment, and then down to auto levels. Now, auto levels not only provides a change in color, but also provides a change in the levels in the image as well. So let's click on this and see what happens. So you'll notice that the color adjustment is not quite as strong as using auto color, but we also get a slight change in contrast as well, as the highlights and shadows are clipped or pegged so that the key highlight and shadow detail are converted to the extremities are converted to pure black and pure white. So in other words, the tones in the image are spread to the extremities of the tonal range. So we get some contrast increase occur in the image as well. Let's edit and undo that. And let's go through to a couple of more manual techniques that you can use to adjust the color in your image. The first we'll look at is called is under the image adjustment area as well, down to variations. Now variations are is a feature that contains a whole range of thumbnails that enable you to see the result of your changes before you actually apply them. So up on the left hand side we see the original and then current pick. At the moment they're the same because we've made no changes, but we have this star group of thumbnails in the bottom section of the dialog. Center is the current pick. Clicking, say for instance, more yellow will apply more yellow to the image, and the current pick will change accordingly. So you can see the before and after images up the top here. If I click more yellow again, now the picture has gone to yellow, so that we might want to go opposite the yellow, which is more blue, and click on that thumbnail in order to drag back the change. Now notice in the top part of the dialog we can selectively adjust shadows, midtones and highlights, plus we can also adjust saturation as well. We can choose when we're adjusting saturation to have a clipping preview warning on, and you can see it when we apply more saturation. You can see that more of the images are becoming oversaturated when they're clipped. So I'll go back the other way. If the adjustment is too strong, we can change the level of adjustment using the fine coarse slider. So here we can add more saturation without causing too much clipping by making the adjustment finer. Let's go back and just take it down to the finest and add that in. or we can go into the midtones. So you can see we're in the midtones here now, and we can make adjustments to the midtones using slight changes. On the far side of the dialog, let me just bring that into view for you, you can make the image lighter and darker as well. Clicking OK applies these changes. So the great thing about working with variations is that you're able to see the changes that you're making, or preview the changes that you're making. Also, you can see from the thumbnails how the image will appear after you click that change. I'm going to cancel out of this one. We'll look at one other option. If we go to Image Adjust and then go down to Color Balance. Now, Color Balance previews the changes in the main preview on the screen. And again, we can work with shadows, midtones and highlights separately, which can be handy. If your shadows are blue, for instance, but your highlights are yellow, you can actually make appropriate changes and corrections to both those parts of the image by targeting each of those tonal ranges separately. So let's just look at removing this warm cast from here. So what we need to do is find a slider that actually has the opposite to what we want. So essentially I've moved the magenta green slider to the right towards the green end, adding more green to the picture. I've also moved the yellow blue slider towards the yellow end, adding more yellow to the image. And you can see how the image has been corrected in that way. So this is a great way of actually applying the changes to the picture, of changing the color to try and get it more neutral.